All right, welcome everybody. We're excited to jump into this one today. We're going to be talking about the end of reactive CX, customer success. To do that, we brought on a friend of mine, Chad. Chad and I have known each other for about, I don't know, it feels like 10
Long
years,
time.
Chad, but it might be
Back to
more like five
inside
or
sales.
six. But yeah, no, that's true. Maybe it is 10. Um, Anyways, appreciate you joining. How are you?
I'm doing great. Really happy to be here.
Cool. Well, hey, wanted to, I know you've been doing some fun stuff. We obviously work together at Customer. You've moved over to Sienna. You've got a cool book that is recently come. I can't believe you actually did it. Congratulations. But tell us a little bit about your CX kind of history and what's going on with the book.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gabe. Really happy to be here. So my name's Chad Horenfeldt. I'm the VP of Customer Experience here at Sienna AI. And Sienna AI, we've built these empathic AI agents that empower CX teams and even beyond that. And we really see ourselves as this AI operating system for CX teams, and specifically, in the e-commerce space. And in terms of myself, I've been in
Hmm.
SaaS and customer success for, I don't know if it's unfortunately, but it's like 20 years. And I've recently, used a lot of that knowledge and have put out a book called The Strategic Customer Success Manager, and it's all about helping people be more strategic. We've all probably been told at one point in our life that we need to be more strategic and never been given a guide. And customer success managers are definitely the people that need more help. And so this book's been really well received, and it's been just been helping people, both the CSMs and leaders, in terms of how to help their teams be more strategic.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations, Chad. Seriously, I mean, to do anytime you have to put your thoughts down and put them into a book, I wouldn't know from experience, but I hear that it's very difficult. So, way to go! Congratulations, success well deserved. So, um, would love to dive into some of these things that I think are on so many people's minds. You're obviously, very near and dear right now to this concept of AI. A lot of people are starting to, use the term. But you've kind of said, look, AI is not about replacing people, it's about replacing poor systems. What kind of poor systems are you seeing it exposed right now?
Yeah, there's so many different aspects of this, but I would say that the systems that don't integrate very well with other LLMs and AI systems, I think that they will probably have a faster end of life than others. And so what I mean by that is, if you look at Claude or ChatGPT, and they have something called an MCP, which is like a newer type of connector into other systems. And so, for example, this morning I'm preparing to speak to the greater leadership team about what are the top product requests that our customers are providing us or are giving to us, and what are some of those top issues. And so today, like, I can run a query using Claude, and we can it integrates directly with Linear. With Linear is like a engineering ticketing system, and it will tell me what
Hmm.
are those top themes, who are the customers that this is impacting, how much revenue is this impacting, what are the exact tickets, so I can give those to
Wow.
the engineering and product leader. And so that's phenomenal. And so if you look at some of these legacy systems that might be actually like maybe building like LLMs like inside their system, which is fine, and that's going to be helpful, but why would I pay for that? And do you really think that those LLMs are going to be, effective in a month, in 3 months, in a year? Because they're maintaining them on their own. I'd rather be with a system that's connecting into like ChatGPT or Claude, because they're obviously continuously iterating. And for the
Sure.
larger enterprises, there's probably some security concerns and making sure that things are tied down. But I think that the companies that are more nimble and are thinking
Yeah.
about how they can connect all those different data and get that data out of there faster, it's like
Mhm.
incredible. I can connect into HubSpot, which is our CRM, and I can pull out like a full list of, here are the clients that probably are going to be the fastest to expansion. So I can start to use that to prioritize who our team should be following up with. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And really what the restriction is how good your engineering prompting skills are.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing you say that, I'm like, geez, this is so different. But what do you feel like? It's just so different than what you and I have even been talking about the last 10 years. I'm like, wow, what a year does, what 2 years does. So look, you've been inside a lot of these orgs, or you're seeing a lot of these orgs adopting AI. Again, you're kind of right on the front line. Where are you starting to see some of these early wins? Where do you still feel like there's, maybe we're falling a little bit short?
Yeah, I think that where we're starting to see early wins is around, and specifically when it comes to like customer success, customer experience. Number one is data analysis. When it comes to customer
Yeah.
success, and this affects everything, customer
Mhm.
experience, like around churn and retaining, your customers. To get that data out of there and just to do the work to pull it all together and to categorize the data and to get it in this nice, like, presentation form, and finally to get it to whoever you need to get it to make your case, the data is probably out of date anyway. And sometimes, it's just like, oh, we're not doing that. And so today, it's like completely like, turned on its head where you can pull that data out very, very easily and make a case. And this is interesting. So, Sienna, we're in the CX space. We actually use Sienna for our own support tickets to help offset tickets. But one of the things why this is so
Hmm.
powerful is we've put this like insight engine on top of our automation engine. And what that does is it pulls these memories of what these customers are doing and how they're interacting with us. And then it creates these insights on top of that. And so here's an example. One of our customers is True CMOS, and they literally sell CMOS. And what they didn't realize is that their customers wanted to try different flavors of CMOS, and they just didn't get that insight. But we're collecting all this data, this unstructured data, and then providing to them. And then they realized that they could put samples in the orders of the customers that purchase it. And then that led to a lot of upsell expansion revenue for them. And so
Cool.
this is the
Cool.
power. Like, this is the power of getting that data and getting it out there and getting it quickly so that you can make corrections. Imagine if there's a product flaw that you have and that you're not fully understanding what that is. This pulls it all together that much faster. And for me in customer success,
Yeah.
even we're a
Yeah.
smaller startup, when we look at churn data, we look at churn information. Typically, we try and have one reason for churn. We like to have one reason. The board likes to see one main reason. But of course, churn is not one reason. It's for various reasons. It could be competitors, cost, people leaving, whatever it is, product issues. And so you can put all this data into ChatGPT or Claude. You can experiment, which is you feel is better, and it will tell you and triangulize what are the key issues by what segment of the customers, by how old those customers, how long they've been with you, and then you can verify the improvements you're putting in place. Are they actually improving and having a positive impact? And so you can do all of that within, like, I don't know, 20 minutes, let's say,
Mhm.
and have that all ready to present. So it's just phenomenal. And the second part of your question, like, where is the where's the drawbacks? Kind of like where the problem. Well, the problem is like there's hallucinations, right? You have to look at the data carefully just to make sure, like, what the heck is it actually saying, and does it have enough data? And even though it takes unstructured data, the more tags and structure you can put into your data, the better the output will be. So you have to be very careful that what that data output is. And also, I put something on LinkedIn this week, and um, I was using AI to help me hire somebody and making cases. And they're like, well, you're kind of leading the witness with AI, chat. So you have to be really careful that you don't do that.
So, Chad, I love the answer. Let me see if I can ask one more question on AI for you here. What would you say to CS leaders who are skeptical or even nervous about AI replacing parts of their team right now?
I would say that there's a couple things. One is that you really have to get proficient on AI, and you should be scared because it's not that necessarily people that your team will get replaced. It's that you're going to get replaced because I would say that businesses will be looking to their leaders on who can leverage AI to be the most effective in their role and to be the most efficient in their role. And that's really what it's about. It's efficiency, effectiveness. And I think that just as from a personal perspective, you want to use AI because I think it will help you get things done faster. You'll be more effective, and I'd say that you'll be more proficient in terms of just as a senior leader in your organization. And I think the last thing, and this I'd say ties in really well to the book, is that from the strategic customer success manager, you have to future proof your team where when they are in a situation when they're talking to their customers, they have to be the most effective in those conversations because there is a human to human connection that won't be replaced by AI. And what I see from customer success managers is they tend to focus on their product. They tend to focus on things that are really comfortable for them. And what they need to do is they need to focus on their customer's business and what their customer is actually trying to achieve and make sure that they're fully aligned there so they can tie what their product does to their customer's business and pull it together. And I think that's really what the book does very well is it helps to future proof the CSM role and make sure that it's still an integral component of a company and in terms of the future.
It's such a relevant topic right now. I want to switch and talk maybe just a little bit about the book because this reactive to strategic, I think, has always been part of kind of the customer success world. So let's shift just a little bit and hit that. So A lot of teams, I think they say or they claim, we want to be more strategic, but what does that actually look like in practice from some of the things you've talked about and written about and also experienced?
Yeah, the first thing is that being strategic is not a title. It's not someone saying you are now a strategic customer success manager. I look at it as a mindset. I see it as that we should all be strategic. And there's three parts of it that I sort of define in the book. And the first thing is I mentioned already, it's not starting with the product, it's starting with the customer's business and really understand. And I have this framework. It's like this 3C framework. It's understanding the
Mm,
customer's company, understanding the your customer's end customer. Who do they sell into? Who are the people that buy from them? Are they real estate agents? Are they construction
okay.
workers? Are they marketers? And then the last thing is the last C is the challenge. What challenges does the company have? And it's not the challenges with your product; it's the challenges in their business. Are they trying to raise money? Are they having tariff issues? A lot of the things that our customers have, and going back to AI is that you can use AI to create a prompt to pull all of that information and say, "Hey, I'm Gabe. I'm the head of marketing, or I'm an advisor at
Mm.
this company, and I'm meeting with this person, and I want to know more about the company. What's the stage? What's going on in their company? Who are their customers? And what are the challenges that they're having?" And it's amazing how much of that information gets pulled back. Where as a customer success manager, even like a few years ago, I'm going to LinkedIn, I'm going to Google News, and I'm taking all this time.
Uh,
I don't have to do that anymore. So to be strategic, to get that information and to have a more productive meeting, it literally takes 3 seconds to do that. And so that's the first part, is focusing on their business. The second part is we tend to focus on adoption. So we look at things like login, and maybe we look at depth and breadth of how they're using your products, which is very important. And you need to know the product really well. But obviously, more importantly, is what do they see as value? And this is where it comes into business outcomes. And I'd say that the book, what it does very well is that we talk to customer success managers about, you need to know the business outcomes, but no one provides details in terms of what a business outcome is, how to get that information, how to structure it, how to ask the right questions. We keep hearing, "Oh, my customer doesn't want to tell me what their business outcomes are." It's like, well, there's a method to that. And then the last thing, and this is something that I learned, and it took me a while, is that being in customer success is not just about being customer centric, it's about being company centric. And so too many customer success managers get sort of caught up in this, like, well, I'm trying to do the best for the customer and everybody needs to help me. And meanwhile, like, there's only so many engineering resources you have. You have to be careful that you just don't give the farm away to your customers and structure agreements in the wrong way. And everyone can't just drop everything and go help your customer. And it also means is like, going to the head of marketing, head of sales, even just an account executive, and just asking them, "Hey, how can I help you? What's something that I can do today that will make your life easier?" And it's assuming the best of the other person, just making that assumption where, they've got a lot on their plate. They've got constraints. They've got metrics they're trying to hit. Yes, they're doing something that's really annoying me, but let me find out why that's happening, rather than saying and blaming them, throwing them under the bus, calling them out on Slack, talking behind their back. These are the things that will not only help you as a customer success manager be better in your role, but it's going to help you advance in your career. And this took me a long time to learn. And, even you saw me at customer, I've got a lot of passion and I'm trying to do certain things. And, I can get caught up in that myself. And just doing a bit of reflection and just realizing, like, wait a minute, like, we're all on the same team here and we're just coming at it from a different angle. And, again, these are the things that will not just help you be better from a strategic, customer success manager with your customers, but it really should help you advance in your career.
Chad, this idea that I wanted to just hit on real quick, still in the book, is outcome engineering versus relationship management. So many different things are expected of a CSM these days. Can you explain that shift and how it changes the day-to-day role of kind of the CSM?
Sure. So the typical CSM would go into a relationship and really want to make sure that they're liked, and they want to be more of this people pleaser. And really, at the end of the day, the customer, they want to focus on what they need to do to get home to see their family, their friends, to maybe play pickleball, whatever it is that they want to do. It's, yes, like, forming that relationship is important because it builds trust, and you can't have achieve value without trust. Like, I look at trust and value as being core components of customer success, but ultimately it's them using your product to achieve something, whether that's to make money, whether that's to save money, whether that's to improve employee retention, generate more marketing qualified leads, whatever that is. That's what they want from you. They want you to understand their business, and it's not necessarily about being liked. And that's really a challenge that customer success professionals and others need to get over. but that will help you and separate you. And at times, it's telling the customer no. At times, like I talk about this thing called radical customer candor, which comes from like the book Radical Candor with Kim Scott, and it's caring personally, but being candid with the customer and saying, like, listen, don't do that because just because you were doing it before, that's not how you should do it now. So all of these things are really, really important, and this shifts the relationship, and I'd say raises your stature up with the customer.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think that's absolutely right. And we're just getting so much more to outcomes. I mean, people want that they want what they want. And they, look, I think they're looking when they buy these tools, they do want to get results first, obviously. So, Chad, appreciate you jumping on today. A couple things maybe to end. If you were kind of starting in your career now in customer service, customer success, and all the changes going on. But more from a leadership angle, what advice would you give, to that junior Chad, so to say? Like, how would you get going on this journey so that you can really learn this CX space well, but also really nail down this AI movement that we're all participating in?
Yeah, I'd say a couple of things. One is just read business books, reading compounds over time. So start there and do that. I'd say the second thing is get outside your bubble, meet with your functional peers within your organizations, meet people outside of your organization, either in your industry or outside your industry. Just keep learning, join organizations like Pavilion and things like that. And I'd say, the last thing on the AI side is
Mm.
just keep learning. And it's the same thing, like learn from your peers, potentially read books on AI, but they go out of date quickly. But just keep learning. And learning never stops.
Isn't that so true? It's like one day you get something, and that may mean you may want to get some podcast. Well, sessions like this actually, stuff that's probably a little more up to date. But books are still awesome. And again, congratulations! Such a milestone, I think, in your career to be able to get that done and get that out. And excited to have the team kind of look at it. We'll make sure we link it in the session. So, Chad, again, really appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck over there at Sienna, and for the audience, have a fantastic day.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dave.